Well, coasters, it's Bruce here, and I'm at North Beach fishing in Greymouth, and I've managed to talk Craig Jones into having a bit of a chat. Craig, thanks so much.
Thanks for asking.
No, look, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, Craig, where do you come from? Well, you're a coaster.
Yeah, I was actually brought up in the southwest, and I grew up in Warra actually, and the parents had a farm down there, and sold that when I was 13. Moved up to O'Hara, so I've been lived up there for a few years before we came to Greymouth, which is when we got into the fishing industry.
So how long have you been? How many seasons have you had now?
How many seasons?
Yeah,
over 40.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which was the boat you first started on?
It was a boat called the Canberra. It was a little 38-footer. It's only a little two-man boat. It's only a wee boat, but there was a lot of boats back those days that size that fished and done okay. Yeah.
Incredible. So were you you wouldn't have been the skipper? You just started on board?
No, I started as a crew. Yeah. I wasn't fishing as a skipper for a few years, but I started on there. Then within a couple of years, it was a family boat. When the farm was sold, the parents decided to buy a boat.
Yep.
That's when I went fishing, and then in a couple of years we bought a bigger boat, a 50-footer. Then went fishing on the bigger boat. So it sort of stemmed from there. Later on in the fishing, parents sold out fishing, but when they sold out, I continued. I worked for other people for a number of years, skippering other vessels, and then eventually we bought. Penny and myself bought our own vessel 25 years ago, which we've still got now.
So it's the same one. What's it called, Craig?
The Cook Canyon.
Oh, very, very well-known boat on the coast.
Yeah, it's well known. Yeah.
So have you fished around New Zealand or mainly off the west coast?
Mostly west coast. We've done a bit of fishing out of Nelson over the years. I've fished up the Wairarapa coast, north of on the east coast of the North Island. We've been down the Timaru Way, a little bit down at Bluff, but more predominantly around the west coast now. Most of our quota allocation is west coast. We're pretty much all west coast now, so we don't really go too far from the coast unless we're working from Nelson. Might do a little bit in Cook Strait, maybe round to back round to here and down to Jackson Bay type thing.
So Craig, people like myself, we every day we go down the beach and we look and we say, "Oh, Jobs, I wouldn't want to be out in that," and you're out there.
Yeah, sometimes we are. Yeah, it can be a little bit deceiving looking off the beach sometimes. You get sometimes it could be quite a large swell on the beach. We could have quite a broad roll out at sea. Other times it's not so pleasant, but that's just a fact of life. It's part of what we do.
How terrifying is, or how bad is the Grey River mouth? I've seen some videos of boats coming in there. I've never seen yours, but I've seen some where I've gone, oh goodness me.
Yeah, it's a dangerous place. You've got to have respect for it. And I think over the years people have learnt a lot more about the dangers of it, because we've had a few fatalities and bad accidents on the bar over the years. So people have grown to get more aware of it and maybe plan their bar crossings a little bit better than what they did further back.
And so, have you had many occasions when you've just sat outside and waited?
Yeah, we have sat out and waited. There's other times we just avoid. We just put it off coming near the bar. We might stay out for an extra day or whatever, or maybe go elsewhere. There's always an option to go to Westport, but usually if you wait for a day or two, you can usually get back in here, or you get a bit of a lull. It's not rough all the time. It does come and go a bit. So
Craig, how important is the processor in this whole fishing industry on the coast?
The processor, they're very important. We can't do anything without the processor. Yeah, well, it's the they need us, but we need them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How many guys work on your boat?
With normal inshore bottom trawling, we would have 4 on the vessel. When we're doing hokey, we have 5 or 6 people on board.
Wow. And
you have a lot more volume of fish, you catch it a lot quicker. That's the mid-water trawling for hoki in the winter.
And every now and then you get they have the observer, don't they? A government observer.
Yep.
And how does that work?
Well, they just contact us, let us know they want to place an observer on the vessel.
Yep.
And we make a time, a date, and they send someone down where you have to accommodate them. We don't have a problem with that. It's just a matter of working in and
squeezing them on
Yeah.
board. And
It
do
can
they
be a bit tight in the accommodation with the hoki's the biggest problem. Yeah.
do they work, or do they do their own thing when they're on?
No, they've got their own job to do. They generally don't. No, we don't have them working on the boat. I know that there's been a few people try to get a bit of work out of them, but they have got a job to do while they're out there.
Yeah, of course. Now you were around when the quota was first brought in.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Yeah, great thing. It's the best thing that ever happened. The New Zealand quota system is probably the best in the world. It's been managed the best, and it's getting little adjustments made here and there, and getting better all the time. Because you get a bit of variation with fish and fish stocks, and it takes a lot to learn all the science of all the fish to get everything at the right levels. So there does need to be adjustments here from time to time, but I think they're doing a really good job.
And it seems that the industry supplies all the figures, and the quota is moved up or down to ensure that we have a sustainable crop out there, and that's working well.
The industry doesn't supply all the figures. They do have research vessels that do a lot of scientific work all around the country.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, they do, but they're also monitoring what industry catches. Industry doesn't control the quotas.
I know, I knew that.
Yeah.
And so they have ships that are monitoring what the resources are, and then lift the quota or lower the quota based on scientific evidence that's there.
Yeah.
Incredible. Now, a favourite subject of mine, I only found out recently that you read on a daily basis about needing to protect the dolphin. Now, and then I found out that in fact there hasn't been a dolphin caught on the coast for over a decade, and even then I think it was only one.
I don't think it's been an issue on the west coast here. I don't know. I haven't heard of anybody catching one for a long time. It could be at least that long, maybe longer. Yeah.
And probably looking at footage from 10, 15 years ago of one exceptional event, and
yeah, it would have been. It's probably a wee bit unusual to catch one.
I think it's one of the things that the industry has got to focus on is just how important it is to the west coast, and that's why I'm involved. I believe the industry has been underreported, underrated, and yet it's so important to our economy.
Well, it's very important. People probably underestimate how much is put into the local economy from the fishing industry. They just sort of, because they don't see it straight up themselves, they just don't probably realise that fishing is such a big thing on the coast, and it has been for a long time.
And this is this hangar here. I remember getting a helicopter fixed in here in the late 80s. And I didn't realise that there was a full net servicing business here.
Yeah, we've been here for quite a long time now. Yeah, well, it's been quite a useful building. It's quite a nice big building for building nets. We do build our own nets, and we do a bit of work for other people, building nets and repairing.
So you start off. So quite often you'll start off from scratch, build a new net.
Yep.
Okay. And supply the fishermen on the coast?
Yeah, not everybody. Everybody's got their own preference, whose
course.
types of nets they like, but we've got a few good customers that on the coast, and a few of them aren't in Greymouth either, so yeah.
That's good for the coast.
Yeah,
now,
it is, yeah.
Now, what do you think of, well, we haven't seen the final plans yet, but what do you think of the plans for the new slipway?
Yeah, I think it should be a good thing to have. It's they've, like you say, we haven't seen the final plans yet, but if they can get a good working system there, it'll definitely draw in the customers they want, and it will bring more work into the local economy.
Yeah, imagine having they're talking about a 20-foot high building and or something similar, and so you'd be able to sandblast, you'd be able to paint. It'd be just brilliant for the fishermen.
Yeah, it'd be a great thing having a sheltered. It's necessary to have a covered area on the west coast here to draw on the customers you want. Without the cover, it's sort of with the weather we get on the west coast, it would be limited.
Craig, I've been down there the odd day just throwing my camera around, and when the wind's coming through, and you think, holy mackerel, jeez, you want to be covered there.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yep.
So how many tonne is your boat?
It's about 150 tonne.
Oh, so it's quite big.
It's a reasonable size vessel, yeah.
And it sounds like the slipway upgrade will cater for a 150 tonne boat?
Yep, they're talking about it, yeah.
Now tell me, over the years, have you ever sunk one?
No, I haven't, no.
Oh,
Touch wood.
Oh, bugger.
No,
Have you
quite pleased about that.
Have you ever had a crewman that fell overboard without being thrown overboard?
No, I don't think so, no.
It's quite amazing, because I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you look at just how rough it can be out there, and yet, of course, I guess it can be pretty smooth as well.
Yeah, it can be, it can be really nice out there. Yeah.
Now tell me, the science behind fishing. I guess someone says to you, look, can you bring us in 50 tonne of or 20 tonne of whatever? How do you know where they are?
Just over time and experience, you learn to know where the fish are at particular times, what depths they'll be in, what area they'll be in. So we have learnt a lot over the years so we can manage what we catch a lot better.
Yeah.
Which is quite good for the processor too, because if we go out with rather than target one species with a, say, shopping list, we get a good mix of catch to bring back for the processor, so they can. It's better for their marketing not to get a bulk lot of one species. Get a good mix, and they can. I think their sales are a lot better too. So we try to work in best we can with the factory, with the processor.
So what happens when, I mean, do all the fish swim around together down there, and how do you separate them, or do they swim at different levels, or how does that work? You know, I know
I think they're sort of in their own schools, basically. Well, we don't really see exactly what they're doing, but there is a bit of a mix. You do get a mix of fish, so they're obviously swimming around quite close to the same areas at times, yeah.
And do different nets catch different fish?
Yep. Yeah, there are different types of nets that are more preferable for different species. So, yeah, like you build a flat net to catch flats, and a wing trawl for catching high flying rounds, and a scraper for scratching up more hard down fish on the bottom.
So that's how you get that shopping basket type order filled.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And a midwater trawl, we use the midwater trawls for the hokey, so it's a different setup again.
Craig, if you're a young fella and you were looking at the fishing industry, your daughter Amy has now got this this Trades Academy link starting to work, and it's looking like, to me, it's going to be a great success.
Yeah.
Is the fishing sector a good place for a young man to start and to grow up and basically earn a living?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there for young people to earn a good living and have a good future in it. They could do it if someone starts up now, out of school, they could be doing it for the next 40 years. I don't see why not. And it has changed. Technology's changed. The fishing's changed. We've changed the way we fish, and we're getting better all the time. And I think the fish are getting managed better, the stocks. So I see a really good future.
Wow. When you advertise for deckhands at the moment, is it like the rest of the rural industries or the primary industries, where it's getting harder and harder to get people to come along?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's definitely getting a lot harder. Yeah.
The pay's all right?
Yeah, they're making very good money. Yeah, there's no problem with the money. It's not a money issue. I don't know. It's just it seems to be a general problem in the primary industries, as far as I can tell, with the manual type work.
So,
but if we can educate some young ones from out of school, they start out, hopefully we can improve that.
I think it can definitely be improved. And
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't it interesting during COVID? I understand the boats just kept going.
Yeah, we did, but we were limited what we could do. We couldn't just go hard out like normal. We got restricted to short trips and less than half capacity. So they had smaller amounts of fish coming in to the factory, so they could manage it to sell it fresh on the market.
Yep.
And not get too much of a cluster of fish. I guess if they had a closure with got shut down because of COVID. If they had an outbreak on one of the factories, they wouldn't want a whole fleet full of boats full of fish.
Understand.
Could have been a disaster too if that happened.
It sounds like it went particularly well.
It did go well, yeah.
How important is Penny in the business?
Oh, she's had a huge influence. She's got a lot of experience in the industry, and she's without Penny and myself doing it together initially, as a partnership and a team type thing, that would have been really hard to have been a boat owner without having Penny in the background. That's for sure.
Now, before I come along today, I did some research, just a wee bit of to get a bit of background, and the thing I've noticed about the fishermen is how often they're involved in community sponsoring, community organisations. I see Penny's involved with the pony clubs, so that it's not just the fishing job, is it?
Oh no, we do a huge amount for the community. We've got a lot going on. We do sponsor quite a few bits and pieces that come along. You don't see it, people don't see that, but we do. We do put help out with different types of.
That's the thing I've noticed about the fishermen is they don't blow their own trumpet, do they?
No, don't.
They're just quietly in the background. They work away. They sponsor all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And but they're kind of invisible because they're not the sort of people that go out and say, "Hey, look at me, look at me."
That's right. Yeah. Well, I guess we don't want to be show ponies. I don't know. But
I love it. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the number of people that live away in the cities. They go to New World and they buy their fresh blue cod, or they buy their terrakee, or they buy their flounder, and then they whip down to get a latte in Ponsonby, and they chuck it like you wouldn't believe at the fishing industry.
Yeah.
It's. Do you have any views on that? I mean, how can we get the message out there that it's actually a fantastic industry that's feeding a team of 5 million?
Well, that's right. They don't understand that, and I guess we have to sort of maybe promote it a lot more somehow. Even what you're doing now should be helpful, but maybe more of this type of thing to try and make people realise the importance of what we do.
I guess one of the issues is that the boats come in, they unload at 2 o'clock in the morning, they leave again the next day, and there's no access, of course, to a fishing boat, so the average person doesn't get to see a fishing boat, and so this type of medium is a great way to show people just what you do and talk to some real coasters like yourself.
Yep.
40 odd years fishing, fantastic.
Yep.
Craig, anything else we can kick around? I guess.
Oh no, you got any other questions? I don't know. I think the fishing industry is definitely a good industry to get into, and I think if we can promote it a bit more and educate people better about what we actually do will be the key thing, I think.
And we've got to start right at the training academy and work through the high school.
Yeah.
What about the people out there that are looking for a change? They might be in an industry, for instance, there's a lot of people in the tourist sector no longer have a future.
Well, they should give it a go if they're keen to be a fisherman and do something different or try something different. Yeah, give it a go.
You'd recommend
it? Might be them. You don't know. It depends on the individual. It won't suit everybody.
And what's the best way for somebody who's out there to contact a fisherman? Do they? I guess they ask around, or do they? Is there an organisation they can contact, or is there? How do they get hold of you to say, look, I wouldn't mind having a crack at being a deckhand?
Well, they can either ring us up, which we do get the odd person, or you do get people advertising for jobs on fishing or for fishing through Facebook these days. So we keep a bit of an eye on that.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
On there, those commercial fishermen, past and present, they have a bit of advertising on there.
Well, there we go, coasters. I'm with Craig Jones, and we're at North. What's the fishing company?
North Beach Fishing.
North Beach Fishing, isn't it? I was going to say North Bay. North Beach Fishing, down by the aerodrome at Greymouth. Family company, coasters, do a wonderful job. Craig, really appreciate the time you've taken to just have a chat, and I'd love to be able to come back at some stage and have a look at your boat. I really would.
Yep, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll make a point of it.
Catch you later.
Okay, thanks, Bruce.